Hey guys, it's Paul from Montana. My son and I, or
Rowdy.
we are getting ready to put an engine back together. This is a small motorcycle.
Yep.
It's a Kawasaki KE100 that Brody's going to be riding here and probably next year. He's a little small for it, but maybe next year. Yeah. You got to be taller, dude. You can't fall over when you're trying to
That'll be fun.
stop. So anyhow, I decided to put a new piston and wrist pin and bearings in this bike because the piston felt pretty loose when it was on the rod. I could kind of wiggle it back and forth. That's not really that great, you know. I'm sure there's specific specifications for that, but I don't know what they are, and it's just an old bike, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But I took the factory wrist pin out of it, and you can actually see some wear. See those two lines on there from the wrist pin bearing, and if I rub my fingernail on there, or my finger on that, I can feel it. So it's actually,
May I see?
yeah, try it.
Feel what?
That it's not perfectly flat across there. So what that means is the bearings actually kind of wore themselves into this wrist pin just a little bit, and that's why you're getting a loose piston out of the deal.
Yep.
So I got brand new parts here, brand new wrist pin, brand new bearing, brand new piston from Wiseco for this bike. And I tried the wrist pin and the brand new wrist pin and the brand new bearing on this rod, and it's a lot tighter. It feels great. So I'm about ready to put this back together, but the reason I'm shooting this video is to just show all these parts to you, and I'm also going to go through Wiseco's installation instructions and kind of give you a few pointers out of their directions.
And don't forget to check out FireNado YouTube channel. I don't have the same type of stuff on there, but I got some cool stuff.
Brody has an awesome channel called FireNado, and it's got all kind of cool kid stuff in it. So
Also, I might be making merch.
yep. So okay, we have a cylinder here. This cylinder is plated. I assume it's Nicosil plating. You
Yes.
cannot bore this. You're not supposed to hone it with a ball hone. Wiseco says that right in the directions. Do not use a ball hone. They say use a rigid hone 280 grit crosshatch pattern. I've done that to this. It's done. And it also says when you're done, wash it real good with dish soap and water to make sure any of that grit and stuff is out of there. So this cylinder's in really nice condition now, and it's washed, it's clean, it's ready for assembly. Ready, don't lose any parts. Don't lose any parts there. Leave that alone,
Sorry,
please.
I'm just.
Here.
Can I just?
So the directions from Wiseco, okay, they start out telling you about honing. Do not use a ball hone. Use a rigid hone, 280 grit, crosshatch pattern. They talk about plated cylinders. Obviously, you can't bore a Nicosil or chrome or electrofusion or boron composite cylinder. You can bore a cast one, upsize it. You're supposed to, if you bore something, you got to make sure and chamfer any parts of the cylinder that lost the chamfer due to the boring. Here it says to wash your cylinder with warm soapy water, remove all the honing grit. Now an exhaust power valve, I think that might be like a rave valve on like a Ski-Doo or Sea-Doo type engine, Rotax engine. You actually have to go in and do some things to this piston to modify it to work for that. This bike doesn't have that. When you put the rings on it, I already installed these rings.
Yes, sir.
You need to put the piston into the cylinder just a little bit so you can check your ring gap and make sure it matches the specs that's shown in the directions here. There's lubrication holes on a cylinder or on a piston sometimes. The old piston doesn't have that, so I'm assuming that I don't need to do that.
Nope.
That's right, Brody. So, and the other thing Wiseco says is they hate it when people order pistons and they try to install them and they're, oh, oops, wrong size piston, and they ship them back all covered in fingerprints and stuff. So before you order your piston, take the old one out, measure it. If you have a bore gauge, measure the inside diameter of this cylinder. That's hard to do with calipers. You need a bore gauge so that you know exactly what size piston goes in there. I have the right one, I'm sure of it. Okay, well, we're about ready to put this together. This is the bottom gasket that goes down here over the crankcase. Yes. I'm going to put a little bit of crank, like Permatex number 2 on there to make sure it doesn't leak. The top one is the top gasket that goes on top of the cylinders. This copper one, it helps seal it really good. If you had a stone, you might consider stoning these surfaces. I don't. I have one.
What's a stone?
Good. A stone is a very, very, very flat stone that's really, really light grit, like not very aggressive grit, and you can rub it on a piece of aluminum or a piece of metal and make it flat, make it nice and flat. That makes sense? And,
yes, sir.
Of course, here's the cylinder head. I've cleaned all this stuff up as good as I can possibly get it. We're ready to put it back together, and I'm also going to use assembly lube on wrist pin and the rods. I don't think you want to put this stuff on your rings. Not a good idea. I'm going to put some 2-stroke oil on the rings, make sure that they're good and lubed up, and then when I run this bike, I'm going to throw some oil in the tank and make sure that it's running pretty high mix, probably 30-to-1 or something like that, till it's broken.
So,
off we go. All right, thanks. We're ready to put this together.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and share the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
FireNado.
FireNado.
Yeah.
Brody, look it up. It'll come up right away. A picture of a lizard like that. Real cool.
All right. So, oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to say, when I put these the nuts on here, they get torqued to, I think said 16 foot-pounds, but I have my torque wrenches set here to about 190 inch-pounds. I'm pretty sure that's 16. Sorry, I can't do. I was told there'd be no math. So torque those on there perfectly, and get the engine back in the bike and have some fun. All right. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe and share the channel.
I hope this helps you guys out. Thanks for watching.